Here we are then, so we're back with another YouTube episode. It's your Freedom Lifestyle Coach, Callum Weber. And if you're an entrepreneur looking to create freedom, then make sure you stay tuned in this episode, because I'm actually going to be sharing where a lot of coaches and entrepreneurs, where they actually go wrong in their business, in their sales career. And what that is they don't know their numbers, right? Everyone talks about this, right? How can you increase your closing ratio? How can you make more money, right? But then I'll ask them the question is like, what is your closing ratio? Like, how many people do you need to see to make sure that you get a deal? What are your numbers? And the amount of people that don't know their numbers. And look, I'll be fully transparent. Like, I've been in the sales industry now for over 7 years. And when I was younger and I was in the sales game, I never knew my numbers. I never tracked my data. And data is absolutely key, okay? So the moral of the story for this episode is why it's so important to actually track your numbers. What are the benefits of this and how do you actually do this? Because without doing this, you're going to struggle to be able to get better at closing, because you're not going to actually know what works. You're not going to know what pitches work. You're not going to know what ways to overcome objections, because without tracking the data, you just end up becoming emotional. And in business and in sales, you want to be on that logical standpoint, because when you get rid of emotion, it makes business a lot easier. If you're someone that feels like you're on a bit of an emotional roller coaster, then this is going to be a really good training for you, because that emotional roller coaster means that you're living life by your emotions. Whereas in business and sales, you want to make sure that you're coming from it from a logical standpoint, because numbers do not lie. You know, you've probably seen like law of averages, right? It's so true. So let's get into this, okay? So knowing your numbers. So my question to you, watching this right here, right now, obviously very grateful for you hopping on this training. If you're watching this whilst you're in the car, congratulations for utilizing your time. If you are at home, make sure when you're watching my YouTube videos, make sure you're watching this in a distraction-free zone. You've got your notebooks ready, because what I'm going to be sharing is what I've, had to experience 7 years in the sales industry. I've invested over £50,000 into mentors and coaches personally, and everything I've learned. So I'm out in the outback, in the wilderness in Turkey. So I keep getting these flies on me. But what I'm going to be sharing with you is all the mistakes that I've made over the years. Like, with all what I know now, if I went back to the start of the journey and I told myself everything that I know now, wow, I would have at least tripled the amount of money that I've made so far. 100%. So I'm so grateful that I've got this platform on YouTube to give you this content completely for free. I'm going to be giving you free episodes every single week. So make sure you subscribe to my channel. But in terms of knowing your numbers, so my question to you right now, what is your closing ratio? What is it? And it's okay if you don't know it. So after this, it's time to start tracking it. So how would you track it? It's a lot more simple than what you possibly think, right? When you scale an income past 6 figures, right, then it's time to start getting CRMs. But before you get to 6 figures, okay, you can literally just simply use a spreadsheet, okay? You can have a spreadsheet month to month. So, January, February, March, April, every single month. How many calls have you had? How many have they closed? It's that simple, okay? If you want to make it a bit more deeper, let's say, for instance, you're booking people through cold DMs, or you're booking people through ads, or you're booking people through an audiobook, or you're booking people through going to network events, right? You could even get down to, okay, so how many messages does it take for me to book in an appointment, right? Then out of them people that booked in an appointment, how many of them showed? Because you're going to have, not everybody you book in an appointment is going to show, so it's good to know that. And then out of everyone that showed, on average, how many times does it take me to close a deal? So I'll give you an example, okay? So it takes you, you're an online PT as an example, you're an online coach. It may take you, say, 100 DMs to get, say, 10 replies. Then out of them 10 replies, you then get one person book in out of that. So say 100 people and you get one person book in, just giving you as an example, okay? So then and then in terms of every one person that books, right? Let's say, for instance, it then takes you 4 calls. So that's a closing ratio of 25%. So every 4 calls that you have, you close a deal. So then you can reverse engineer it. And then you're like, okay, so if it takes me 100 people, 100 cold DMs to get 1 call booked, okay? But then it takes me, let's say it takes me, and then you've got an 80% show up rate as well. So then you're like, okay, so I need 500 messages. So you send out 500 messages, you book in 5 calls, one person doesn't show up, so you sit 4 appointments, and on average you close 1 deal out of them 4. So then you know, you just need to make sure that every time that you message 500 people, on average, you're going to close one deal. You're going to close one deal. And the powerful thing about knowing this is you can then scale it. You can then get virtual assistants as an example. You'll be like, okay, so if it takes me 500 messages to close one deal, that one deal's worth, say, $1,000 to me, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, whatever it's worth to you. Find out how much it's worth. Then you know that you could then hire, say, a virtual assistant to send out their messages, because you know when they send out 500 messages, you're going to make, say, $2,000. And it might have cost you X. It might have cost you like 50 quid to get to have someone messaging for you. And you've made $3,000. So you've made £2,950 profit. Like, that's just a bit of an example for you. But this is why it's so critical for you to know your numbers. Like, let me ask you, do you know how many messages it takes for someone to book in a call with you? Do you know how many times how much money you're spending in ads to get someone to book a call with you? Let's say you're a high ticket closer and you don't have to worry about acquisition, you don't have to worry about getting leads yourself, then number one, like, be so grateful about that. Like, that's one thing. I've gone on a journey of being a Freedom Lifestyle CEO, running my community, you know, helping business owners and sales reps triple their income in sales and at least double their closing rate. And I'm very grateful for that. But let me tell you this, acquisition, all that side of business, like, looking back now, when I used to literally get leads handed to me, I used to have booked in appointments. Like, looking back now, I wish I was much more grateful about it because going out there and getting all your leads, and that is like another mission in itself. It's another skill to acquire. Like, for me, my specialty's been closing deals, something I've done for the last 7 years. As I've been building this business, like being fully vulnerable with you guys, my vulnerability, my challenge has been acquisition, consistently getting leads. Like, closing leads is not an issue. Getting the leads was an issue for me, and that's why I've gone on a journey of learning exactly how to do that. So if you are a closer, then be very grateful for the leads that you get. And if you are a closer, all you need to worry about, okay, so let's say, for instance, it takes you get 100 meetings a month on average, right? As an example, let's say you haven't increased your closing ratio yet, you're at 10%. Every 10 calls you sit, you close a deal. So that means you're going to close 10 deals a month, okay? If you had 100 appointments. So then it's like, okay, so how much am I going to make in commission from that? And let's say, for instance, your goal is to make more money than that, then you know, okay, so how can I see more people in a day? Or how can I increase my closing ratio? And you're going to increase your closing ratio by watching trainings like this, because it's hard to increase your closing ratio if you don't know what it is. So I hope this is your line in the sand moment to make sure that you start tracking your numbers, because when you track the numbers, it's going to take the emotion out of business. It's going to take the emotion out of sales. And logically, you're going to know all I need to do is make sure that I sit X amount of appointments and I'm going to make X amount of money, right? Input equals output. 100 input, right? 100 appointments equals 10 deals for me. Let's say you earn a commission of £500 commission every deal you made, as an example. Let's say you were selling something that was £5,000 and you made 500 quid commission. Cool, amazing. So you know that you'd make £5,000 in a month by having 100 appointments, closing 10% of them. I hope that makes sense for you. Make sure you let me know in the comments if there's any area that you want me to add to this, so I can make an additional episode. As you can tell, like, there's a lot of YouTubers out there that make, like, you know, hours trainings, which are incredible. However, I'm very aware of attention spans nowadays. So if you're someone that wants to make sure that if you get some intense learning in a short space of time, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you are ready to take it to that next level, I actually do have a free sales training to help you create freedom, okay? It's actually 40 minutes long, okay? So look, if you're someone that can only watch a reel and lose attention, then it's probably not going to be for you. If you're someone that's ready to scale your income, your business income or your sales income to 6 figures plus, make sure you check out the link to the description. It's a completely free training. You do have to put your email in as usual, but look, I'm not going to send you out loads of crap. I'm actually going to be sending you out value to do with sales, to help you confidently close deals and make more money and create your freedom. And I'll also be updating you about my amazing YouTube channel that I'm going to be posting 3 episodes a week. I'll be sending you out some reminders to go out there and watch my free content. And obviously I've got my Freedom Lifestyle podcast as well. So lots of free content for you to dive deep into. I just want to say I'm very grateful for you showing up. I'm very grateful for you investing your time into this. And I'm very grateful for you watching this. But as always, from, well, not so sunny actually today, but that sea is gorgeous from the beautiful Quebec in Turkey. I'm very blessed and grateful to be helping you on your journey of becoming a confident closer. I'll be seeing you on the next episode. Let's go.